So I'm Ama, and I want you to picture this scenario with me. So imagine that you join a project or a team, you're a new joiner, and this may be an already established team or a very new team, and you're trying to deliver a piece of software. So you're trying to find information about the services that within your engineering organization that your team could reuse in order to deliver your software. And so some of the things that you may be looking for may be technical documentation, you may be looking for API specs or product SLA or some sort of run book to let you know if an integration, what to do if an integration is not working as expected. Or you could also be looking for some sort of quick start guide, starter kit, or software template to help you really get into delivering value for your application. And so you start to search in the usual places, your company wiki, maybe Confluence or Google Drive, SharePoint. And you know, this is where things start to get frustrating because the information that you need to find in order to build the big picture for your application is not in one place. And then you keep looking and looking just to get pieces of information together to do what you need to do. I don't know if you've been in this situation, but I have been in this situation many times. I can't tell you the number of times I have found a really critical piece of information that I need to build my application in Slack, in some random conversation that someone shared with someone else. And so this situation happens a lot. It becomes really frustrating when it seems like your second job as a developer is to be a detective and to follow trails, crumbs of information to get what you need. Today, Tim and I are going to be talking about developer portals and how you can use them to address this scenario that I presented. We'll talk about anti-patterns in the use of developer portals and talk about an example of an open source developer portal platform that we've used across many clients and really feel like it hits the mark for what developer portals should be. So over to you, Tim.
Thank you. So we are going to start with the question of what is a developer portal? So it sometimes looks a bit like this, but what is the main reason for it, right? So a developer portal, the key is essentially trying to solve the problem that Amma talked about, which really is talking about discoverability. So it's really about discovering information. So Amma mentioned specs, technical information, other things also like almost how do you find different products and things like that. So the key piece of a developer portal is the search engine. It's a kind of a taxonomy. And then it's the content of the actual information, right? So, and one of the key pieces with a developer portal is that it's been built with a developer in mind and a developer's workflow, right? So often we put a lot of effort into building products for our users, but we don't always create products with a developer experience in mind. So the developer portal has been built to find information as fast as possible, right? So the search has been tuned, and that's the goal, right? So reducing the number of hops, the number of misinformation and those kind of things. So discoverability is the first key point. Second point is, developer portals, there are many different developer portals, but common is kind of a catalog of, you could say, the tooling or the services that you expect a developer to use in your organization, right? So anything that a developer does day to day, it should be front and center on the portal, right? Because you kind of want the portal to be the place that the developers use sort of throughout the day. And then lots of these developer services will also have like little widgets built into it, so a developer can quickly get a summary and can quickly see, what is the status of Jenkins, what is the status of, or they can see who owns this project or where does this repo go to, things like that. It also has Another example of kind of a developer service is like a tech radar. So some developer portals have a plugin for a tech radar, which allows you to think about the standardization or the governance of tools in your organization. So it's kind of, again, providing information to a developer to sort of aid their experience. And then, while maybe it isn't necessarily thought of as what you might not think about when you think about developer portals, but it's become like a key feature, which is actually, it's a software catalog, essentially. So having all your APIs, all your backend components, or your data sets listed in the portal is really important, because what it does is it allows people, so a developer may be looking for some information and maybe they can't find it, but what they can do is they can actually go and find out who is maintaining that system, and then actually go and talk to that team, right? So this is a key piece of it, and by building this software catalog, it allows you to build other features on top of it, right? Because if you think about that, you have your up-to-date software catalog, you can start to think about governance, you can start to think about finding security problems and things like that. Right, and over to Emma on Antipatterns.
Yes. So antipatterns are a commonly occurring solution to a problem that actually generates negative consequences. And so thinking of developer portals and some of the antipatterns that we've seen, one of the big ones we've seen is putting everything and anything into the developer portal so that the quality of content and products in the portal is actually low. So if a developer portal is supposed to support a developer in their day-to-day, make them more effective, information in it must be quick to find, easy to understand, and easy to use. And so dumping anything and everything into the dev portal just replicates that same problem you have with lack of discoverability, but inside of a new tool. And so what we actually recommend for dev portals is that the content that goes into them should be structured. It should be concise. Developers should be able to see it and immediately get what they need from it. It should meet the organization's technical standards, governance. And that way, actually, the engineering teams and the organization are actually uplifted because of their commitment to sharing information in a standard way. The use of the developer portal should be consistent across different resources in the portal and kept up to date. All of these contribute to making the developer portal easy to use and have high quality content. Same thing applies for product integrations in the portal. So we talked about the developer portal being a catalog of developer products and services. Integrating products into the developer portal takes some work, and so attention must be paid to the quality of that integration. If the tools that are integrated into a portal cannot be relied on, they break easily, they don't have great error messages, so that developers are always kind of not sure what to expect from the dev portal, then it becomes less effective. And then instead of it being that one place where developers go to get information, they actually move away from that. And so the dev portal is not as useful or effective anymore. Another anti-pattern is in not thinking of the developer portal as a product. A lot of people, when they think of developer tools, think of something quick and scrappy that helps a developer quickly get to their day-to-day work more easily. And a developer portal can be all of those things, but it doesn't just end there. The developer portal is software, and just like any other software, it evolves over time. Dependencies get out of date, and so things break, bugs could be introduced, vulnerabilities could come up. The integrations in the portal might need to be updated over time. The company might have new capabilities that they want to build into the dev portal. And so there's a lot of changes that go into the dev portal. It is essential that there is an owner or a group of people who have the vision of the portal at heart and are able to direct and guide, prioritize the changes that are made to the portal. This way, the portal can keep up to all the changes that are needed to make it useful and effective for users. And then it also keeps in track with what users want. And it's not just a repository of anything and everything. And so that's another anti-pattern for the use of developer portals. Tim, you want to talk about the next?
So the other anti-pattern we see is really not measuring the impact and the adoption of the portal. And this really comes back to, why did you put a portal in the first place? And really, it's something that we recommend that you look at even before you put it in. So, sometimes you're trying to sort of directly maybe improve the sort of information sharing, which is what we talked about earlier, but there can also be other reasons for putting a portal in. Sometimes organizations may use it as a way of guiding developers down certain paved roads, right? So they may be trying to, improve the standardization or decrease the time to launch a service. So it's important to sort of track those KPIs and think about, like, am I actually, is my portal is it actually helping those KPIs? Is it actually making developers' lives easier? And if it's not, then you have to rethink your strategy, right? And then similarly with adoption. One of the things that's sort of interesting, and it goes back to this owner, this team that might own it, is often for internal tools, we don't do behavior tracking. We don't put behavior metrics, but that actually can be quite useful, to see how your users are using your system. What are they searching for? How are they navigating? To think about, have I put the right structure? Have I put the right information in? So applying the same things, the same sort of product management techniques that you might for a user product, end user product. The other sort of anti-pattern we've seen a little bit is actually recreating a full tool inside of the portal. Really, you should be putting a little summary and then linking to the tool itself, right? Don't recreate something within the tool. Okay.
Yeah. So one dev portal tool that we've seen and have used across a few clients and feel like really hits the mark for what we expect of developer portals is Backstage, which was released by Spotify last year. We also talk about it in our technology radar. If you're not familiar with the radar, it's a place on the Thoughtworks website where we put down information on technology, tools, processes that we've used, have experience with, and have opinions on and recommendations on for you. And so Backstage has core components, like for the capabilities that we talked about, like service catalog for discoverability, for access to information on what exists for an organization, what software services exist for an organization. It has at its core also support for hosting technical documentation. Of course, it has search, and it has this capability to enable you to integrate software templates so that you can easily create starter kits right from the developer portal and get started on delivering value quickly. The thing that I like the most about Backstage is its plugin architecture. So what that means is that it's made up of different individual components that you can put together to form the dev portal that you want it to be. And to support that, Spotify has this marketplace where you can get access to a whole lot of tools and plugins that you can integrate with your core developer portal and to customize it for your organization's needs. And so on the next slide, we can see an example of what the Backstage service catalog looks like. And so I talked about dev portals being, easy to use, just easy to understand, look at it and get information at a glance. And so that's exactly what you get from this service catalog. You can see what products are available and you can get information about them. And then on the next slide, if you dig deeper into one of the services that are listed, you can get more information. We talked about integration with developer tools and services. And so here you see that integration with source control, its links to other services in the organization, and technical documentation where required or where necessary. And so this is just a quick look at Backstage, and this is the end of our talk. I hope this got you a little bit excited about the capabilities for dev portals and how they can be used in your organization. Thank you.